Hello, I'm Jodi Reinhard, and I am back with Denise Griffith, and we're here to revisit the COVID-19 now that we are in phase 3. So, what does that mean exactly, health-wise, Denise?
So we're having less people being hospitalized, and the incidence of occurrence is slowing down. So the spread is slowing down. So that's, as we go through these phases, they have different cutoffs or different parameters that make those phases, that define those phases. So right now we're in the phase where our hospitalizations are stabilized. Hospitals are handling well locally here and doing well, and the death rate and the occurrence rates are stabilizing. So those are good things. So we got to the peak, and now we're on the downside of that COVID slope.
Yes. So do we still need to wear masks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's still recommended that we wear masks. We'll be wearing masks. If you're at high risk, you will probably need to wear masks until we get the vaccines.
Okay.
If you are over 65, immune compromised, so what that means is if you are on steroids all the time, or have been getting chemotherapy, or have an illness of your immune system, you are at risk not only to get it, but when you get it so much more severe. If you're diabetic, heart disease, lung disease, asthma, those things. So if you're at risk, until the vaccines come out, you probably need to be sure to wear your mask all the time. And we have to remember, when we wear the mask, it helps you, but it really helps other people, because a lot of times people don't know that they're contagious. They've not gotten sick. They've not been symptomatic,
Right.
And that's how it's easily spread. So it's probably a good idea for all of us to help those that are at risk not
Right.
get the illness.
Okay, very good. I still do have masks available, and for those, I had some say I cannot wear a mask. Well, I devised this little cheap device. I went to Dollar Tree and got little girl headbands that were $5 for $1, and this is just a page protector that I weave the headband in. You can put it on, and that will be maybe better than the mask, but better than nothing. So you may want to think about trying that as well.
I think it's also helpful, like if you have glasses, sometimes the mask, if you don't have it around underneath your glasses, well, your glasses get all steamed up. So I think sometimes maybe for people who have glasses, it's nice, and you can wipe that down and reuse it. So that's a great idea for people who can't wear masks, or uncomfortable wearing masks, or find that claustrophobic maybe.
Right.
Those kinds of things. So that's a good alternative.
So still hand washing and social distancing.
Absolutely. We still have to hand wash. If you don't have the ability to wash your hands, your hand sanitizers, and then social distancing, that's going to be around for a while. Mm-hmm. And again, until we get a vaccine in place, I see those social distancing being with us. And so hopefully they're working very hard. There's some discussion that we might have a vaccine by the end of the year. That would be amazing, because it usually takes several years for vaccines to be tested and produced and get out there. But it's right now it's a worldwide focus, so there are people all over the world working on this vaccine. So that the more the merrier, the more the better. That the sooner we'll maybe get that vaccine.
Absolutely.
So it'll be like amazingly wonderful if we get it by the end of the year.
Yes.
Realistically, probably next year.
Yeah.
And that's probably more realistic.
But pray. I've been praying that for the researchers to have that wisdom and knowledge, and let's get that out there. Then I wanted to talk about some churches are reopening and we aren't right now for safety reasons. There was a church recently that opened, and you want to talk about that a little bit?
Jackson County, and again, not mentioning names or exactly where it is or whatever,
Right.
but a church was having services all through, and they had some high-risk people, and they had someone who had the illness and didn't have symptoms, and I believe there was over 60-some people who were tested then positive and ended up with the virus. So, we don't want to have one of our brothers or sisters from the church get ill or and possibly die from this this illness. So we do have to be careful, and we have to be patient. And it is so hard to be patient.
It is.
It is, because it's like, the isolation and missing our church and missing our church family, and so many of us not only have our church family, but we also socialize and go to lunch and whatnot with our church brothers and sisters. So it is hard to be patient.
We will be patient, and we will wait, and we will not open until we are confident that we can keep you all safe, because we do love and care for you.
And I think we have to be realistic that when we do reopen, church will be different.
Oh, definitely.
And than what we're used to. So it's kind of like no reciting as a congregation, singing as, those kinds of things, because of the spraying of the potential of the virus if somebody doesn't know that they have it. So, and plus we're going to have to do social distancing, so we have to, families can sit together, but then they have to be 6 feet between groups, and then they're recommending less than, right now, groups of 10. And then the next phase, it's like
50.
Groups of 50.
Yeah.
And so it's just going to be, church will be very different.
It is.
So it's kind of like we have to really be patient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, praying for that vaccine is probably good, real good.
Yes, very much. And we also have to wait till we have the tools to open back up. We're going to try to get some, what do I want to call, automatic dispensers for hand sanitizer. We're going to take temperatures and things like that, because we do want you to be safe. So just give us patience to get all of those tools into place. Now, what about our immune system?
Well, our immune system, it's important that we take care of our immune system. There are, I was reading on the World Health Organization's page, there's like 6 things that you can do to heighten or help your immune system function at the highest level possible. And some of it kind of, when I read it, I giggle because it sounds like my mom. And, the first one was sleep, 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. So, the more rested you are, the better your immune system. Then it was diet was the next thing, and having a good diet, lots of fruits and vegetables, stay away from the sugar and salt, those things. And then the third thing was exercise, because exercise increases the good hormones and lowers the bad hormones in our bodies that work against our immune system. Then they talked about isolation was its own category, and then stress was its own category. So talking about stress, lowering your stress, doing all the things, meditation, exercise, talking to people, working through your stress so you don't have a high fight or flight type of hormone situation in your body with stress. And then with the isolation, which we all have been dealing with since March, the isolation, it increases stress. So again, staying in contact with people, calling people, FaceTiming them, Zoom meetings and gatherings, and as much as possible, those kinds of things are so important to help lower those bad hormones that keep us stressed out and keep us at heightened fight or flight levels, kind of thing. And let's see, there was 6. So I had diet, rest, exercise, humor, increase your humor. So they were, it was really funny because they were talking about men, and if they know that they're gonna experience a funny movie together, then they've measured hormones and things like that, and it definitely decreases the bad hormones and increases the feel-good hormones, and which then help with your immune system. So those kind of things are things we can do.
Well, that's good. Wonderful. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about, because we hear that UV rays kill viruses or germs. So if we leave our mask in the car in the sunshine, would that kill the germs on the mask?
The UV rays do kill germs and viruses, but here's the problem.
Okay.
How long is long enough?
Yes.
And if it's cloudy out, is it the same as when it's sunny out? So there's a lot of variables. So yes, that the sun does kill on surfaces. Now they don't recommend that people get in the sun to kill the virus on them, because the risk of the skin cancers and those kinds of things. But it does work. But there's not been research to establish guidelines in how to do that. And so I see that as an area that will evolve, and we'll see more probably in the next 3 to 6 years, as research shows, this works and this doesn't. This amount of time is what you need. But it does work on surfaces. There are UV little devices that you'll see on the internet that you can purchase and put your phone in and stuff like that. Again, there's not a lot of research other than they feel that it works, but there's not the guidelines yet.
Right.
So we still have to wash your mask, wash your hands, wash surfaces off, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, very good. Is there anything else that we have?
Well, we talked
about?
You said a little bit about, what about vacations?
Oh yes, very good. I forgot that.
Vacations. So there's a couple things you got to think about. If you're thinking about going somewhere on vacation, you have to think about the area that you're going to, and getting in and looking and seeing what their rate of illness is in that area. Because if it's high, like New York City, it's probably not a good place to go to for a while until the vaccine is, kind of thing. So that's why you have to look. You have to look at, if you're going to go to Panama City or something like that, get on the internet and look at the occurrence of the virus there. That's one thing you need to know. If you're going to go, again, you want to do all the same things: the social distancing, the mask wearing, the hand washing.
So flying in an airplane would not be safe.
Well, the problem with the airplanes, the one thing about, first off, you got to go to the airport, and there's a lot of close contact there.
Right.
The airplane itself has a lot of air exchanges,
Okay.
so that's good. But the distancing sometimes can't be guaranteed. And I know that the airlines are putting out that they'll call you if the flight is booked full to give you a chance to go on the next flight and that kind of stuff. So some of that. So again, you're going to have to be wearing masks, hand hygiene. If you're staying in a rental or a hotel or something, you still have to do the cleaning and the disinfecting that you would do at home. Mm-hmm. So you have to think about that. So, right now, as much as I don't like being isolated, we kind of have to stay home until, again, hopefully the virus and everything, once the vaccine comes out, then hopefully this will slow down and we'll feel like we can breathe again.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be, in some way, some shape or form, probably this next year we'll continue on with some of these practices, some of these cautious things that we have to do, some of this scaling things back and social distancing, I think it's going to go on for a while, kind of thing.
Yeah, we'll just have kind of a new normal.
New normal, yeah. So call somebody.
Yes, and visit, you know, we can visit outside.
Absolutely, visiting outside, the distance is good.
Yes. It's kind of going back to the old time days when
Yes.
you used to sit out on the porch and visit with your neighbors.
Right.
We can do that again.
I always laugh because when we lived on Reveille Road, Bruce and I frequently would take our lawn chairs after supper and sit it on the driveway and watch all the people go by and talk to the neighbors and kind of thing. So that kind of stuff is good for us and good for our neighbors. So again, as long as we socially distance ourselves.
Anything else?
No, thank
All right.
you.
Well, very
Thank
good.
you.
Well, thank you for coming again.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you.